Question 1. Commercial General Liability Insurance (CGL). Which of the following situations would most likely be excluded under a standard CGL policy? A. A contractor accidentally damages a client's property during renovations. B. An employee of the insured sues for injuries sustained on the job. C. A retail business is sued for a defamation claim due to a misleading advertisement. D. A customer is injured on the insured's premises and files a medical payment claim. Answer B. Explanation. A. This is typically covered under coverage a CGL policy which addresses bodily injury or property damage arising from operations. B. Injuries sustained by employees are excluded under the CGL policy because they fall under the scope of workers' compensation insurance, which is a separate line of coverage. C. This would generally be covered under coverage B, which includes personal and advertising injury liability. D. Medical payment claims are typically covered under coverage C, regardless of fault, as long as the incident occurs on the insured's premises or arises out of their operations. Relevant rule: exclusions for employer liability under CGL policies are standard to prevent overlap with workers' compensation coverage. Question 2. Commercial property insurance. A business insured under building and personal property coverage from BPP offers a partial loss to its equipment due to fire. The policy specifies replacement cost valuation. The replacement cost of the equipment is $50,000, the actual cash value is $35,000, and the deductible is $5,000. How much will the insurer pay? A. $30,000. B. $35,000. C. $45,000. D. $50,000. Answer C. Explanation. Replacement cost valuation. The policy promises to pay the full cost to replace damaged property without depreciation, provided insurance is carried at a sufficient level. Calculation. Replacement cost $50,000. Deductible $5,000 equals $45,000. Why the others are incorrect? A. $30,000 reflects incorrect application of both replacement cost and deductible. B. $35,000 incorrectly applies actual cash value, which does not apply when the policy specifies replacement cost. D. $50,000 ignores the deductible. Relevant rule: the BPP form typically pays replacement cost if the insured meets the coinsurance requirement, otherwise actual cash value applies. Question 3. Scenario-based workers' compensation insurance. Lisa is the owner of a small business in New Hampshire and has 2 employees. While performing their duties, one employee, John, suffers a severe injury. Lisa does not have workers' compensation insurance because she believes her business is too small to require it. Which of the following actions would best comply with New Hampshire law regarding workers' compensation? A. Lisa must immediately purchase workers' compensation insurance and notify the state of compliance. B. Lisa is not required to purchase insurance since she has fewer than 3 employees. C. Lisa can negotiate directly with John to cover medical expenses and lost wages. D. Lisa may be subject to penalties and is required to provide full benefits to John under New Hampshire law. Correct answer D. Explanation. A. While purchasing insurance is mandatory, this does not retroactively absolve the employer from penalties or liability. B. New Hampshire law requires workers' compensation coverage for all employers with 1 or more employees, except for specific exemptions. C. Negotiating directly with the injured employee violates the law. Benefits must be provided as stipulated under the workers' compensation statute. D. Lisa would be subject to penalties for non-compliance and required to provide benefits, as the law mandates coverage for even 1 employee. A relevant rule: under New Hampshire workers' compensation law, any employer with 1 or more employees must carry insurance. Failure to do so results in fines, liability for full benefits, and potential legal consequences. Question 4. Surety bonds. Which of the following is not a typical party involved in a surety bond? A. Principal. B. Obligee. C. Beneficiary. D. Surety. Answer C. Explanation. A. Principal, the party responsible for fulfilling the obligation. B. Obligee, the party that requires the bond to guarantee performance or compliance. C. Beneficiary. This term is not applicable in the context of surety bonds. It is more commonly associated with life insurance policies. D. Surety, the entity providing the financial guarantee to the obligee on behalf of the principal. Relevant rule: surety bonds involve 3 distinct parties: the principal, the obligee, and the surety, each with specific roles in the agreement. Question 5. Crime insurance. A New Hampshire business insured under a standard crime insurance policy discovers that its cashier has embezzled funds over the past 2 years. Which provision determines how much the insurer will pay for the loss? A. The employee theft coverage limit. B. The aggregate policy limit. C. The retroactive date clause. D. The discovery clause. Answer A. Explanation. A. Employee theft coverage limit sets the maximum payout for covered losses involving employee theft. B. The aggregate limit applies to all claims combined, but does not specifically determine the payout for employee theft. C. Retroactive dates are typical in claims-made policies, not standard crime policies. D. The discovery clause affects when a claim can be filed, not the amount paid. A relevant rule. Crime insurance policies typically impose a per-loss limit for employee theft rather than an aggregate or retroactive calculation. Question 6. Commercial auto insurance scenario-based. Michael owns a delivery business in New Hampshire. One of his employees, Sarah, causes an accident while using her personal car for a work-related delivery. Michael's commercial auto policy has coverage for hired and non-owned autos. What would be the most likely outcome regarding coverage? A. Michael's policy covers the claim because the accident occurred during business operations. B. Sarah's personal auto insurance will cover the claim because it was her vehicle. C. Neither Michael's policy nor Sarah's personal insurance will cover the claim. D. Michael's policy will only cover the claim if the vehicle is specifically listed under the policy. Answer A. Explanation. A. Hired and non-owned auto coverage typically applies to vehicles not owned by the business but used for business purposes. B. While Sarah's personal auto insurance might provide primary coverage, Michael's policy would provide secondary coverage. C. Coverage is not excluded as the policy has hired and non-owned auto coverage. D. Coverage for non-owned autos does not require the vehicle to be listed individually. Relevant rule. Commercial auto policies with hired and non-owned coverage protect businesses when employees use their vehicles for business purposes. Question 7. Umbrella and excess liability insurance. Which of the following best describes the purpose of umbrella insurance? A. To replace primary insurance in case of default. B. To provide broader coverage and fill gaps left by underlying policies. C. To increase the policy limits of all underlying policies automatically. D. To cover exclusions from underlying policies. Answer B. Explanation. A. Umbrella insurance supplements but does not replace primary insurance. B. The primary purpose of umbrella insurance is to provide broader coverage and extend limits beyond what primary policies offer. C. Umbrella insurance does not increase all limits automatically. It applies only to covered claims. D. While umbrella insurance may cover some exclusions, it does not cover all exclusions in underlying policies. Relevant rule. Umbrella insurance typically provides additional limits and coverage for risks excluded from primary insurance, subject to policy terms. Question 8. Business owner's policy. Bob, a small bakery in New Hampshire, wants to purchase a BOP policy. Which of the following is not an eligible risk for this policy? A. A retail store with annual sales of $2.5 million. B. An office building with 75,000 square feet of space. C. A contractor working on large-scale infrastructure projects. D. A restaurant with a seating capacity of 75. Answer C. Explanation. A. Small retail businesses are eligible risks under BOP. B. Office buildings under a certain size are typically eligible. C. Contractors working on large-scale projects are generally excluded because of their higher risk profile. D. Restaurants within certain limits, e.g. seating capacity, are often eligible. Relevant rule. BOP policies are designed for small to medium-sized businesses with low-risk profiles, excluding high-risk professions or large-scale operations. Question 9. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following best describes the ordinance or law endorsement in a commercial property insurance policy? A. It covers legal liability arising from non-compliance with local laws. B. It covers increased costs due to compliance with building codes after a covered loss. C. It provides coverage for punitive damages arising from legal proceedings. D. It eliminates exclusions related to criminal activities by the insured. Answer B. Explanation. A. This describes liability insurance, not ordinance or law coverage. B. The endorsement specifically addresses increased costs from compliance with building codes after a loss, such as demolition or rebuilding to meet updated standards. C. Punitive damages are not covered under this endorsement. D. Criminal activities are not related to this endorsement. Relevant rule. Ordinance or law coverage is an optional endorsement designed to address regulatory costs not covered under standard property insurance. Question 10. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following benefits is not typically covered under workers' compensation insurance? A. Medical expenses for work-related injuries. B. Income replacement for temporary disability. C. Punitive damages for negligence by the employer. D. Rehabilitation expenses for injured employees. Answer C. Explanation. A. Medical expenses are a fundamental benefit under workers' compensation. B. Temporary disability income replacement is a standard benefit. C. Workers' compensation does not cover punitive damages as its purpose is to provide no-fault benefits, not to assign blame. D. Rehabilitation expenses are commonly included. Relevant rule. Workers' compensation is a no-fault system designed to provide benefits regardless of employer negligence, excluding punitive damages or pain and suffering claims. Question 11. Flood insurance. Under the National Flood Insurance Program (NFIP), what is the typical waiting period before flood insurance coverage becomes effective after the policy is purchased? A. 7 days. B. 14 days. C. 30 days. D. 60 days. Answer C. Explanation. NFIP policies typically have a 30-day waiting period before coverage becomes effective, unless the insurance is purchased in connection with a loan or due to a MAP revision. Question 12. Homeowners insurance. Which of the following is generally not covered under a standard homeowners insurance policy? A. Fire damage to the insured home. B. Theft of personal belongings. C. Damage caused by flooding. D. Liability for injuries occurring on the property. Answer C. Explanation. Standard homeowners insurance policies exclude flood damage. Separate flood insurance must be purchased for this coverage. Question 13. Business income insurance. Business income insurance covers which of the following losses? A. Losses due to employee dishonesty. B. Losses resulting from a covered physical loss or damage to property. C. Losses due to changes in market demand. D. Losses caused by intentional acts of evil. Answer B. Explanation. Business income insurance covers income lost due to a suspension of operations caused by a covered physical loss or damage to the property. Question 14. Auto insurance. Which type of auto insurance coverage pays for damages to the insured's vehicle regardless of fault? A. Liability coverage. B. Collision coverage. C. Comprehensive coverage. D. Uninsured motorist coverage. Answer B. Explanation. Collision coverage pays for damages to the insured's vehicle regardless of fault in accidents involving another vehicle or object. Question 15. Inland marine insurance. Inland marine insurance is typically used to cover which of the following? A. Stationary property at the insured's premises. B. Movable property in transit. C. Vehicles used for business purposes. D. Employee injuries occurring on the job. Answer B. Explanation. Inland marine insurance provides coverage for movable property, especially during transit. Question 16. General liability insurance. Which of the following is an example of a claim typically covered under general liability insurance? A. An employee's work-related injury. B. Damage to a customer's property caused by the insured's operations. C. Loss of business income due to a fire. D. An employee's theft of company funds. Answer B. Explanation. General liability insurance covers third-party claims for property damage or bodily injury caused by the insured's operations. Question 17. Personal umbrella policy. A personal umbrella policy is designed to A. Replace primary auto and home insurance policies. B. Provide excess liability coverage above existing policy limits. C. Cover personal property losses beyond homeowners insurance. D. Cover flood damages to the insured's home. Answer B. Explanation. A personal umbrella policy provides additional liability coverage above the limits of the insured's auto and homeowners insurance. Question 18. Commercial general liability (CGL) policy. Which type of claim would typically be excluded under a standard commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Bodily injury to a customer at the insured's premises. B. Property damage caused by the insured's operations. C. Employee injuries covered by workers' compensation. D. Advertising injury caused by the insured. Answer C. Explanation. Employee injuries are typically excluded from CGL policies because they are covered under workers' compensation insurance. Question 19. Replacement cost versus actual cash value. How does replacement cost coverage differ from actual cash value ACV coverage? A replacement cost includes depreciation while ACV does not. BACV reimburses the cost to replace the item, while replacement cost reimburses the current value. C. Replacement cost reimburses the cost to replace the item, while ACV deducts depreciation from the reimbursement. D. Both replacement cost and ACV provide the same level of coverage. Answer. C. Explanation. Replacement cost coverage reimburses the full cost of replacing an item without deducting for depreciation, while ACV takes depreciation into account. Question 20. Workers' compensation. Covered injuries. Which of the following injuries would not be covered under workers' compensation? A. An injury sustained while the employee was performing job duties. B. A repetitive strain injury caused by work activities. C. An injury sustained during a voluntary company-sponsored picnic. D. An injury sustained while commuting to work. Answer. D. Explanation. Workers' compensation generally does not cover injuries sustained while commuting, as they are outside the scope of employment. Question 21. Additional insured endorsements. Which of the following scenarios is most likely to require an additional insured endorsement on a liability policy? A. A contractor requires protection under a subcontractor's policy. B. An individual purchases coverage for their personal residence. C. A business adds coverage for newly acquired equipment. D. An employer seeks coverage for work-related injuries to employees. Answer. A. Explanation. Additional insured endorsements are often added when one party, e.g. a contractor, needs protection under another party's policy, e.g. a subcontractor, typically to address liability arising out of joint operations. Question 22. Pollution exclusion in CGL policies. Which of the following would typically not be excluded by the pollution exclusion in a commercial general liability CGL policy? A. Bodily injury caused by the release of pollutants at the insured's premises. B. Property damage resulting from a contractor spilling fuel during operations. C. Injury caused by fumes from a malfunctioning HVAC system. D. Cleanup costs for an environmental spill. Answer. C. Explanation. The pollution exclusion generally does not apply to injury caused by building fumes, such as those from malfunctioning HVAC systems, as they are considered incidental and not environmental pollution. Question 23. Equipment breakdown insurance. Which of the following is not typically covered under equipment breakdown insurance? A. Electrical arcing that damages machinery. B. Mechanical failure of a production line. C. Replacement of worn-out equipment due to age. D. Explosion of a boiler causing property damage. Answer. C. Explanation. Equipment breakdown insurance covers sudden and accidental failures, but does not cover wear and tear or maintenance-related issues, which are considered normal operating expenses. Question 24. Business owner's policy BOP. Which type of business is generally not eligible for a business owner's policy BOP? A. A small retail store. B. A mid-sized accounting firm. C. A large manufacturing plant. D. A small restaurant. Answer. C. Explanation. BOPs are designed for small to mid-sized businesses, but large manufacturing operations typically require specialized coverage due to the scale and complexity of risks. Question 25. Cyber liability insurance. Which of the following is the key coverage provided by cyber liability insurance? A. Loss of physical inventory due to theft. B. Financial losses from a data breach exposing customer information. C. Liability for employee injuries sustained in the workplace. D. Property damage from a natural disaster. Answer. B. Explanation. Cyber liability insurance covers losses related to data breaches, including costs of notification, credit monitoring, and potential lawsuits. Physical theft or property damage is not covered. Question 26. Scenario-based question. Commercial auto coverage scenario. Marie's company leases a vehicle for business deliveries. One of her employees is involved in an accident while driving the leased vehicle, causing property damage to another driver's car. The company has a commercial auto policy with symbol 8, hired autos, and symbol 9, non-owned autos. What type of coverage will respond to the claim? A. Liability coverage under symbol 8, hired autos. B. Physical damage coverage for the leased vehicle. C. Comprehensive coverage for the other driver's car. D. No coverage applies under the company's policy. Answer. A. Explanation. Symbol 8, Hire Autos provides liability coverage for vehicles leased or rented by the insured. This would cover property damage caused by the employee during the accident. Physical damage to the insured vehicle requires additional coverage. Question 27. Inland marine insurance. Which of the following items is most appropriately insured under an inland marine policy? A. Inventory stored at a retail store. B. A building permanently located at the business premises. C. Contractors' tools and equipment transported between job sites. D. Office furniture within the company's headquarters. Answer C. Explanation. Inland marine insurance is designed to cover movable property such as contractors' tools and equipment, especially when in transit or at different locations. Stationary property like buildings or office furniture is typically covered under standard commercial property policies. Question 28. Workers' compensation. Exclusive remedy doctrine. The exclusive remedy doctrine in workers' compensation means A. Employers can choose between workers' compensation and general liability insurance to cover injuries. B. Injured employees cannot sue their employer for work-related injuries if covered by workers' compensation. C. Employees must prove fault to receive workers' compensation benefits. D. Workers' compensation only applies if injuries occur off-site. Answer B. Explanation. The exclusive remedy doctrine limits an employee's right to sue their employer for work-related injuries, as workers' compensation benefits are designed to provide no-fault coverage. Question 29. Crime insurance. Employee theft coverage. Which of the following losses would be covered under an employee theft coverage form? A. Losses from a vendor's fraudulent billing practices. B. Theft of cash by an employee from the company's safe. C. Robbery by a third party at the business location. D. Losses due to computer hacking by an external party. Answer B. Explanation. Employee theft coverage protects against theft of money, securities, or property directly caused by employees. Fraudulent vendor practices or external hacking are not covered. Question 30. Commercial umbrella policies. Which of the following best describes the purpose of a commercial umbrella policy? A. To replace primary liability policies for businesses. B. To provide excess liability coverage above underlying policies. C. To insure against property damage for high-value assets. D. To cover uninsured business risks. Answer B. Explanation. Commercial umbrella policies provide additional liability coverage beyond the limits of primary liability policies, ensuring broader protection for catastrophic losses.